But Brian Wheeler, Antonio Harvey joined now on Trailblazers Courtside by the Western Conference's Coach of the Month. His business card just got a little more extensive with that extra title thrown in. We, of course, are talking about Terry Stotts. Coach, do they give you anything like a certificate, a trophy, key to the city, anything like that for being Western Conference Coach of the Month?
Not yet. Right now I just got a lot of pats on the back, and that's fine with me.
Handshakes, things of that nature. Nothing.
Handshakes, well wishes. I've gotten a lot of texts.
No free dinner, no nothing.
No nothing.
Hey,
no
right.
nothing. But Tone, listen, are we all set for the concert after the show?
Yes. I'll meet you there.
Okay.
Because I'm not a big Drake fan, Coach. In fact, I was having this conversation earlier. I'm not a fan of any music with words anymore because they don't talk about anything. Give me some John Coltrane, some Cannonball Adderley, some Miles Davis.
Really?
I'm happy, but all this other stuff, I can't do it so much.
You're showing your age.
You are. That's old school without question. So, Coach, I'll give you a few numbers here. You tell me which is most impressive to you, and your team has plenty of impressive numbers to look at. 15-3 overall record, 8-2 road record, 9-0 against teams under 500, 12-0 when leading after three quarters, 9-2 when shooting less than 45%, and 9-0 when you hold teams under 100 points. Which of those many great things would you say maybe is the best of them all?
I tell you what, those are all pretty impressive. I mean,
yes, they are.
I knew some of them, but when you rattle them off like that, it's something to be proud of. And I don't think there's no two ways about it. We've certainly gotten off to a great start, and I don't want to downplay what a good start it's been in a lot of different areas. But I try and temper that with the fact that we've got a long season to go, and we don't want to be complacent, satisfied. We've got a tough schedule, all that stuff coming up. But, probably from my standpoint, with defense being the biggest priority going into the season, the fact that we've got a certain number of wins while not shooting over 44% is, to me, the best indicator for us as far as the direction that we're going. Also, priorities going into the season was to have a better road record. To be a playoff team, you have to win. I think you need to win half your road games, and so to get off to a good start like that was one of our goals. And also beating teams. I don't like saying beating teams you're supposed to beat, but beating teams with a lesser record is important. You have to take care of business like that, and those were two or three of the things that going into the season we wanted to improve, and up to this point, we've done that.
Coach, you've been around the league long enough to know that, teams sometimes start hot, and then they come across that point in the schedule where they face some tough competition. They start to wilt just a bit, and then all of a sudden that hot start goes away. How important is it for your team right now to sustain what they've been doing? You've got you finish the Pacers off. You've got the Oklahoma City Thunder coming in tomorrow night, and then you've got the Dallas Mavericks this weekend. Those are three relatively tough games. You guys have already taken care of one. How important is it for you to continue to grow and beat good teams?
More than anything else, I think it's about our demeanor and our approach to the game. And, we're playing like we have something to prove. And we need to keep that edge no matter what our record is. And, I mentioned that earlier today. But, it's I keep saying this. We haven't accomplished anything. Obviously, we've won a lot of games, and we've done some things up to this point. But we've done it because we've played with an edge, and we have to do that every night. And I'm worried about the schedule. I'm worried about our demeanor. I'm worried about sustaining it. But every indication from our team, I don't anticipate that's going to change it because of how we approach the games.
Thunder coming in tomorrow night, as we said. Does it help at all that you saw one of the best small forwards in the NBA. And Paul George last night, a career-high night for him, 43 points with 7 made three-pointers. Does it help at all in trying to deal with him in preparation for another great small forward coming in tomorrow in Kevin Durant?
Well, I hope Durant doesn't do what Paul George did. That's for sure. They're very similar players in that they're very effective from the perimeter, and they can put the ball on the floor, and they're hard to guard. But I think from a team standpoint, that nothing really changes. We have to stick to our defensive principles. We got to stay the course with what we're doing and play the percentages. And I think in the long run, that's going to pay off for us. But, to answer your question, Oklahoma City has 3 losses. Kevin Durant's a great player. Russell Westbrook's a great player. Serge Ibaka is a paint presence, much like Hibbert. So the challenges are going to be there. Oklahoma City plays at a faster pace than Indiana, but playing Indiana and Oklahoma City back to back is certainly a good test, and I think we'll be up for it.
Coach, you mentioned something that really stood out to me last night, and that was the demeanor of your team game in and game out. You look at the San Antonio Spurs, you look at teams like the Miami Heat, even the Oklahoma City Thunder to a lesser extent. No matter what you do against them, they have a game plan. They're going to execute every single night. It seems like your team has taken on a little bit of that. No matter what the opposition does, your guys come out, they execute the game plan as you guys have put it together, and because of that, they sustain those lumps, and ultimately they're able to eke out victories.
Well, that's the goal, and throw Indiana in that mix. I think they play with the same demeanor and the same attitude, and that's what the great teams do. Not good teams, but the great teams, and that's where we all want to get to. And we may not do it consistently. I was really pleased with our consistency last night, more from a mental standpoint than anything else. But that's what the great teams do. And if we want to achieve the things that we want to achieve this season, we need to stay the course. And I get tired of repeating that, but we have to continue to do the things that we know we have to do to be a good team.
Every time we think that we've seen all there is to see in the NBA, something happens that is a first, and I can't recall a situation like what happened today in Brooklyn.
Yeah, that was weird.
Lawrence Frank, the number 1 assistant for Jason Kidd, gets reassigned, and they kind of go back to some meeting that went awry, and it soured the relationship between the two. They're paying Lawrence Frank a pretty good salary, and so
that's why they didn't fire him.
Yeah, so I'm not sure how this one's going to get settled, and without knowing all the particulars, obviously you were with Jason Kidd in Dallas. I know you know Lawrence Frank, but something had to go seriously wrong for a head coach and a top assistant to get to the point where the only solution is to reassign the top assistant.
Well, one of the things I've learned in the NBA is that you really don't know what's going on behind the scenes. There's a lot of things going on behind the scenes with every team that no one knows, and so I think it's certainly not my place to even speculate on what's going on. Obviously, losing and not meeting expectations certainly is a catalyst for change. And whatever the reason, I do know that Jason Kidd was a great player when I was in Dallas and has an extremely intelligent basketball mind. I know I have a lot of respect for Lawrence Frank as a basketball coach and what he's done in his career. Whatever happened, but sounds like Lawrence is going to be doing daily reports. So
I'm still trying to figure out what does that mean. Now, in coach speak, what does daily reports mean?
Well, I don't know, but trying to keep it in perspective, I know that Lawrence has a great basketball mind, and if he is still having his input, but maybe not being around the team, but still having his input and analysis of the team and the opponents, that could be because it would be a shame to waste a talent like Lawrence Frank.
you don't necessarily have to say if you're feeling this way, but I've heard that that there may be some in the coaching fraternity that have had to work very hard to get to the positions that they're in, especially in the head coaching situation.
Don't ask him.
That may actually be a little bit happy that Jason Kidd is struggling some.
We went down this road. He wouldn't answer me either. I don't think he's.
Oh, you asked him
yes,
that? Okay. Well, I'm not saying that he has to say so, but
right.
but do you think there is some of that going around where maybe there are some head coaches that think, this is a trend we wouldn't necessarily like to see, a guy coming straight out of, being from a player. Now, Mark Jackson came from a broadcasting situation without having been a head coach, and he's enjoyed some success, but maybe it does lessen some of the effort that a lot of you in the head coaching fraternity have had to go through to get to your positions. If all of a sudden, people find that they can be a player and all of a sudden go right to being a head coach without any time in between, maybe kind of beating the path a little bit to try to learn the craft and just kind of being thrown right into the head position.
You really expect me to answer that?
I said that you don't have to say if you agree with it.
I tried to warn him, Coach. I tried to warn him.
The question went on and on and on, and no, honestly, it's coaching can be very miserable at times, and I know what Jason's going through. I know what Mike Woodson's going through. I know Larry Drew. Teams that are not living up to the early expectations. It's miserable, and I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
They don't get to be coach of the month and get a certificate or a pat on the back as you
a handshake.
Yeah, I got my certificate.
Hey, Coach, I just want you to know that the next road trip Subway's on me.
No, we owe him a better dinner than that.
I'm done asking you guys out to dinner.
Okay, Coach, a better statement. A really good dinner is on wheels.
Fine.
Yeah, I've heard that one too.
That's fine. We keep waiting for you to say the word, so you decide. You decide when there's a spare moment in your day. We'd be happy to do it. Well, congratulations, Coach, on the great start through 18 games. And I know that you're all about what have you done for me lately, so you'll get a chance to continue to impress tomorrow night against the Thunder. Hopefully they'll play 4 overtimes tonight in Sacramento, but we'll get them tomorrow night for the first time at the Moda Center. I'm sure the building will be packed and excited, and hopefully another Blazer win to be had. So enjoy the night. Enjoy your viewing of the Thunder and the Kings, and we'll see you at the arena tomorrow.
You realize that we'll be talking 4 out of 5 nights this week?
Almost like we're married or something.
I know. This is we're getting a little intimate here.
I think we can have it because we allow for some separation, some space for each other, so we don't overwhelm each other.
I want you to know I always appreciate talking to you guys.
Thank you, Coach. Have a good night.
All right. Thanks. You too.